this event with a little prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation.
Franklin Roosevelt's Pearl Harbor Address includes the famous phrase, "a date which will live in infamy." He used these words to emphasize the historic nature of the events at Pearl Harbor, implicitly urging the American people to never forget the attack and memorialize its date. Sean O'Hara will read this address.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate, and of the House of Representatives. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with this nation and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking toward the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. It will be recorded that the distance from Hawaii to Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. During the intervening times, the Japan government was deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
Today, our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature, and we respond with the best of America, with the daring of our rescue workers, with the caring for strangers and neighbors who came to give blood and help in any way they could. Immediately following the first attack, I implemented our government's emergency response plans. Our military is powerful, and it's prepared. Our emergency teams are working in New York City and Washington, D.C. to help with local rescue efforts. Our first priority is to get help to those who have been injured and to take every precaution to protect our citizens at home and around the world from further attacks. The functions of our government continue without interruption. Federal agencies in Washington, which had to be evacuated today, are reopening for essential personnel tonight and will be open for business tomorrow. Our financial institutions remain strong, and the American economy will be open for business.
Stood before the members of the House of Representatives and the Senate. He gave this speech in order to convince them to agree to a declaration of war against the Japanese Empire. Listen to his words as spoken by Austin Stolzer.
Eternal vigilance is the price we pay for liberty.
Is that all right, John? Is that all right? Yeah. All right.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, member of the Senate and of the House of Representatives. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking toward the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. It will be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. During the intervening times, the Japanese government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces.
When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with inherent and certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the Senate and of the House of Representatives. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking towards the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. It would be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. During the intervening times, the Japanese government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
Speech for his son. Okay.
Good evening once again. It's a pleasure to introduce our next speaker, 7th grade student Jack Corbin. He will be reciting Theodore Teddy Roosevelt's speech at the northern entrance to Yellowstone National Park.
The creation and preservation of such a great national playground in the interest of our people as a whole is a credit to the nation, but above all, a credit to Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. It has been preserved with wise foresight. The scheme of its preservation is noteworthy in its essential democracy. Private game preserves, though they may be handled in such a way as to not be only good things for themselves, but good things for the surrounding community, can yet never be more than poor substitutes. From the standpoint of the public, for great national playgrounds such as this Yellowstone Park. This park was created and is now administered for the benefit and enjoyment of the people. The government must continue to appropriate for it, especially in the direction of completing and perfecting an excellent system of driveways. But already, its beauties can be seen with great comfort in a short space of time and at an astoundingly small cost. And with the sense, on the part of every visitor, that it is in part his property, that it is the property of Uncle Sam, and therefore all of us.
Well, that concludes our speakers for today. And we need about 10 more minutes to solidify these results. Then we'll come back and hand out the prizes.
I'd like to announce the winners here. So I'm Jody Grazio. I am the treasurer for the St. Titus Knights of Columbus. So again, thank you for coming out this evening. Looks like we'll get done a little bit earlier than scheduled. So let's go with the award presentation. Starting with the 8th grade, 3rd place, Austin Stolzer.
He's absent. He was absent.
We had a lead. And that's a prize of $50.
Do they each get one of these? Yeah, look at the name.
2nd place was Sean O'Hara with a prize of $75. And 1st place was James Vaccaro with a prize of $100.
Thank you so much.
Handed. We have prizes for your participation. We appreciate everyone for coming and presenting. You did a great job. The scores were extremely close. It was very difficult decisions, so some by a half of a point. So we want to thank everybody, and we have a participation certificate for Cameron McLaurin. Congratulations. We have a participation certificate for Kate O'Curran. And finally, we have a participation certificate for Erin McGrory. Well, I want to thank everyone. First of all, we want to thank, we also have, courtesy of our one of our members, Tony, Mr. Tony Goreski, especially Tony, who had the wonderful inspiration to allow us to use this as a location for our event tonight. After quite a few roadblocks we encountered this year trying to arrange for a place, we didn't think, actually Matt might agree with me on this, we weren't quite so sure about 2 months ago if this event was going to be held, until Tony was able to say, I think I have a good idea, so we can arrange to use the Val Forge Washington Memorial Chapel. So we want to thank them especially. As you noticed in your programs, the refreshments were provided free of charge as complimentary from Cora Police Pizza and Bakery, and also the soft pretzels were from Philly Soft Pretzels. So if you get a chance, please patronize those good businesses in Plymouth Township. Philly Pretzel in Plymouth Township. Okay? Make sure you visit them on the way down to the Plymouth Meeting Mall, for a nice little snack. But thanks once again to everybody who participated, all our brother knights and our patriotic order brothers.